To help celebrate Father's Day in 2018, I decided to compile a list of Hollywood actors and actresses whose fathers played baseball professionally. Some of the individuals featured on this list are very well known in Hollywood. Others on this list you may know the father really well and not have realized they had children who turned to acting as a career instead of sports. And finally, there are some on this list you may not even recognize, and I hope to showcase them in this feature and give them the recognition they do deserve. Starting off the countdown is a former Major League infielder named Milt Bolling and his daughter actress Angie Bolling. Milt Bolling played 7 seasons in the majors, primarily with the Boston Red Sox. He was a slick fielding shortstop who made his major league debut in 1952 at the age of 21 years old. In 1953, Bolling was the primary shortstop for the Red Sox after the team traded away a veteran shortstop, Johnny Lippin. After the 1954 season, the Red Sox went with another starting shortstop after Milt failed to produce offensively. From 1955 to 1957, Milt played a backup infielder role between battling injuries and was dealt to the Washington Senators in April of 1957. After the 1957 season, the Senators traded Milt to Detroit and he played 1 season with his brother Frank, who was the starting second baseman for the Tigers, before Milt decided to retire at 27 years old from baseball because of his injuries. After his playing career, Bolling returned to the Red Sox and worked for them as a scout for many years. Milt's oldest daughter, Angie Bolling's first acting appearance was on a little-known sci-fi show called Benji, Zax, and the Alien Prince. That was a Saturday morning CBS show as Dara, a bounty hunter sent to Earth to track down a fleeing prince named Yubi. Angie would continue to act in various TV movies and TV shows, including an episode of Dallas in 1986, but her biggest breakout role was when she was cast as Ellen Murphy in 1987's RoboCop. She would reprise this role in both the RoboCop 2 and 3 sequels. After RoboCop, she returned to television acting and appeared in various miniseries and TV shows such as Walker, Texas Ranger, Prison Break, and Friday Night Lights. Currently, Angie lives in Texas and is still active in her acting career. Greg Mulleavy was a former shortstop for the Chicago White Sox and Red Sox that appeared in 79 games from 1930 to 1933. His playing career, however, lasted a span of over 20 seasons, playing in the minors from 1927 to 1946. The final years of his minor league career were spent as a player manager, which he would officially join the Dodgers after the 1946 season and become a full-time minor league manager in their system. He would spend the next 11 seasons as a minor league coach until in 1957 he would join Walter Alston's coaching staff in Brooklyn and would remain a member of his coaching staff for many years. Mulleavy passed away in 1980 and was still a special instructor for the Dodgers at the time of his passing. His son, also named Greg, changed his last name so he could make his own name and not be confused with his baseball father's namesake. His first credited role was in an episode of Jim Nabors' show Gomer Pyle USMC in 1964. After that, Mullavey made appearances in shows like Combat, The Fugitive, Mission Impossible, Petticoat Junction, where he met his wife, Meredith McRae, Gunsmoke, and many other TV shows throughout the mid-60s and mid-70s. Greg was cast as Tom Hartman in the show Mary Hartman, Mary Hartman, as he portrayed Mary's husband. This would be the role Greg would most be remembered for. Mullavey would continue to act throughout the years and has a career that has spanned over 5 decades in acting. His most recently can be recognized as the grandfather Chea on the Nickelodeon show iCarly. Sam Parrilla was a Puerto Rican native who came to the United States at the age of 20 years old to play professional baseball. In his first minor league season, Sam found himself playing for the Dubuque Packers in Dubuque, Iowa of the Midwest League, an affiliate of the Cleveland Indians. After spending 7 seasons in the minors with stints in the Yankees, Indians, and Phillies farm systems, he received his first attempt at the majors playing for the Phillies, debuting on April 11, 1970, after batting .383 the previous season in the minors. After only appearing in 11 games, on May 11, 1970, he was demoted to the minors and finished the season in Triple-A, where he finished the season with a .330 batting average. Between the 1970 and 71 season, he was dealt to the Baltimore Orioles, where he would again begin the year in Triple-A for the Orioles. After 2 seasons in Triple-A with the Orioles, Parrilla signed again with the Indians, hoping to make their roster, but again found himself in Triple-A for the season. Parrilla would never return to the majors and retired at the age of 30 in 1973 after a stint in the Mexican League. Sam's daughter Lana is first credited with appearing in her first television show in 1999, but became a regular on the television show Spin City from 2000 to 2001. Then in 2002, she appeared on the series Boomtown. After the show Boomtown ended, she acted in various television series such as 24, Windfall, and Swingtown, and Miami Medical. But the role she landed in 2011 would be her most notable to date, playing Regina Mills, the Evil Queen, in ABC's show Once Upon a Time, which she is still cast as the creation of this video. Probably the most recognizable name on this list is musician crossover actor Tim McGraw, but many do not realize that his father was one of the best relievers from his era in baseball, Tug McGraw. Frank Tug McGraw was a left-handed pitcher who made his debut with the New York Mets in 1965. The 20-year-old rookie had a chance to pitch on a Mets team that lost 112 games that season. As a starter, his first 3 seasons with the Mets, he only won 4 games and would spend the entire 1968 season in Triple-A. But just as magical as the 1969 season was for the Mets, McGraw returned to the majors and made his own on the Mets pitching staff out of the bullpen. He went 9-3 and posted a sparse 2.24 run average for the eventual World Series champs. McGraw would remain a mainstay with the Mets until 1975 when he left to play for the Phillies. In his first season with the Phillies, he made his first All-Star team and would pitch for the Phillies for 10 more seasons until his retirement in 1984. Over his 19-year career, the lefty McGraw won 96 games, saved 180 games, and had a career 3.14 earned run average. Tug's son Tim is a country music superstar, but is one of a handful of musicians who also act. I'm not going to focus on Tim's success as a musician in this video, but focus more on his acting talents. One of Tim's earliest acting jobs was on the comedy series The Jeff Foxworthy Show. After lending his music to many soundtracks in the 1990s, such as Something to Talk About and the Stallone racing movie Driven, in 2004, McGraw would appear in the sports movie Friday Night Lights and in the 2006 movie Flicka. He would later star in 2009's The Blind Side, about the life story of football player Michael Orr. Currently, McGraw still tours and creates as a country musician, but still is active in different roles as an actor. Moving from one of the kings of country music, we move to the Major League Baseball all-time hit king Pete Rose and his daughter. Every baseball fan knows Pete Rose and how important he was for the game of baseball. I am not going to focus on some of the negative aspects surrounding his career as a player and manager, but more of what he did as a player. Rose's gritty style of play made him an instant fan favorite. Over a 24-year major league career, Rose was one of the most feared hitters in baseball. He collected 4,256 hits over that span, which made Rose the all-time hit king in baseball, surpassing the great Ty Cobb. But very few realize that Pete's daughter, Chea Rose, was a child actress. Chea changed her name to Chea Courtney early in her acting career. She first appeared on Season 7 of Melrose Place as Sarah McBride. After Melrose Place, Chea appeared on the soap opera Passions as the Little Angel Girl in 7 episodes. During her time on Passions, Chea made a few appearances on shows such as Judging Amy and Providence. She also appeared in the Kevin Costner film Dragonfly. After 2002, Chea left child acting behind and, as far as I could research, no longer pursues her acting career. Former journeyman reliever Matt Keough has a unique entry on this list because he actually has 2 children that have pursued acting, and also his father was a Major League Baseball player. Matt first came up with the Oakland A's in 1977 and pitched for them through the 1983 season. After leaving Oakland, Matt spent time with the Yankees, Cardinals, Cubs, and Astros organization until 1987. In the 1987 season, Keough moved to Japan and played 3 pro seasons for the Hanshin Tigers of the Professional Japanese Baseball League. After his retirement from baseball, Keough went back to Oakland to work in various scouting and player development positions for the A's. He was actually portrayed on the silver screen by actor Nick Searcy in the film adaptation of the book Moneyball. The rise of fame of Matt's 3 children, Shane, Kara, and a 3rd child, Colton, all came when his family was cast in seasons 1 through 5 of The Real Housewives of Orange County. Shane himself was a minor league baseball player for the Oakland A's organization, appearing in nearly 350 minor league games from 2007 to 2010. After retiring from baseball, Shane landed his first role in a film called Capital Games in 2013. He appeared in a few other films and television shows, but currently works in the real estate industry in California. Keough actually was an actress before her family was showcased on The Real Housewives of Orange County. Keough appeared in the movie Outbreak with Jodie Foster in 1995. She continued to act in a few other projects until 2000, when she was 12 years old, appearing in her final film, Disney's Miracle in Lane 2, starring Malcolm in the Middle actor Frankie Muniz. Matt's youngest son, Colton, also was drafted by the Zeile Mariners in the 2010 draft, but never played professionally with the organization. Like his older brother, Colton currently resides in California and works in the real estate industry and has not acted since the reality show. Like the Keough family, Steve Fanning actually has 2 children who have made acting a career. Steve Fanning was a St. Louis Cardinals minor league player for 7 seasons and finished his career for the Chicago Cubs AAA affiliate in 1995. He never made a major league debut during his 8 seasons playing professional baseball. There is not a whole lot of information available for Steve after his baseball career. It appears at one time he worked in the electronics industry, and he actually is credited with appearing in an episode of Judging Amy as an actor in 1999, according to the Internet Movie Database. One could only assume that he has helped support the growth and careers of his 2 daughters into the wonderful actresses they have become during his post-playing baseball career. His first daughter, Dakota, has acting credits starting when she was just 6 years old in some of the biggest television shows of the early 2000s. She appeared in episodes of ER, Ally McBeal, CSI, The Practice, and among many other shows from the early 2000s. One of her first breakout roles was in 2001 when she was cast in I Am Sam with Sean Penn, which also featured her younger sister Elle. She would continue to act in various movies throughout her childhood with some of the biggest names in Hollywood. In her teenage years, Dakota again would showcase her talents in some of the biggest Hollywood blockbuster films, appearing in 3 Twilight movies. Throughout her teens, she would appear in a variety of movies, and recently in 2018 joined the television show The Alienist. It appears Dakota is carrying her momentum forward as a young actress, making a smooth transition from being a child actress to a full-fledged Hollywood star as an adult. Her most recent movie, Ocean's 8, is in theaters now. Steve's second child, Elle, also is a budding success in Hollywood. Elle was nearly only 3 years old when she played the younger version of Dakota's character Lucy in I Am Sam in 2001, and again played a younger version of her sister in 2002's Taken. Elle's breakout role came the following year as she was cast in Eddie Murphy's comedy Daddy Daycare. Like her sister, she has continued to grow as an actress, and at the young age of 20 has appeared as a co-star to some of the biggest names in Hollywood. Most notably, she appeared as Aurora in 2014's Maleficent opposite Angelina Jolie and is currently in production of reprising that role in the movie's sequel. Todd Zeile was a longtime Major League Baseball player, first debuting for the St. Louis Cardinals in 1989 as a catcher. The former UCLA Bruin was only 23 years old when he made his Major League debut. As manager at the time, Joe Torre felt that he would be better utilized as a third baseman as opposed to a catcher, just as Torre had transitioned in his career. Going into the 1990 season, the job at third base was his, and he manned the position for the Cardinals until mid-1995 when the Cardinals traded Zeile to the Chicago Cubs. After the 1995 season completed, Zeile signed as a free agent with the Phillies for 1996, but again found himself traded before the end of the 1996 season. Zeile moved back to LA for the 1997 season, but a year later, in 1998, found himself again traded to the Florida Marlins, who in turn traded him to the Rangers. Eventually, he would sign with the New York Mets, but would find himself playing for 4 more teams before returning to the Mets and retiring in 2004 at the age of 38. In total, Todd played for 11 Major League teams. His first team, the Cardinals, would be the team he played the longest for. Over his 16-year career, Todd finished with a lifetime .265 batting average and slugged over 250 home runs, primarily as a third baseman. It should be noted that after his playing career, Todd Zeile actually made brief appearances in The King of Queens. Zeile had 3 children with another great athlete from UCLA, Julie Ann McNamara, who was an Olympic gymnast who competed in the 1984 Los Angeles Olympics. Julie Ann was one of a few athletes to cross over into acting, as she appeared on Charles in Charge from 1984 to 1987 and also appeared on a Knight Rider episode in 1985. She also appeared as a TV analyst for many gymnastics events. In 1987, after her husband Todd was drafted, she retired from acting and focused on her family. Their middle child, Hannah Zeile, followed in her mother and father's footsteps in acting. Hannah's first credited role was in an episode of Anger Management starring Charlie Sheen when she was just a teen. What would happen next for Hannah is what every young actress dreams of. In 2016, Hannah was cast as Chrissy Metz's character Kate in her teenage years in the smash NBC show This Is Us. Since 2016, the young actress's career has taken off, and she is currently filming to star in the 3rd season of This Is Us. One more thing that should be noted about the Zeile family. Although not an actor, at least yet, Todd and Julianne's oldest child, Garrett, is a very talented musician and is in a band called Talk in Tongues that was formed in 2014. He also performed in a band named Jetstream previous to that. I hope you have enjoyed this presentation. For Father's Day, I wanted to create a unique video that never had been seen before on YouTube regarding sports and fathers. After many hours of thinking on what subject to cover, I came up with this idea, began researching, when I started thinking of all the actors who had fathers that played in any major sport. I narrowed the list down to just baseball, as it is far and beyond my favorite sport. Baseball is the sport that even to this day I share with my father more than any other. I remember playing baseball with my father in the backyard, attending my first baseball games, seeing the St. Louis Cardinals, which ironically Todd Zeile was a member of those teams. This video is dedicated to all the fathers out there that have that same passion for sports, but more importantly, my father, who taught me not just the game of baseball, but the game of life.